Goblin. Are you ready to yap?
Hey Goobs, it's Goblin. Today we have the queen of commissioning character art, the top indie author of the year in my opinion, the person I tell literally everything to, my best friend and author of Smoke and Scar, Gretchen Powell Fox. Hi.
Hello. Hi. I'm so honored to be here.
Oh, please, like you had to be my first guest. You had to. I
I was
feel like people would have thought we were fighting if you weren't my first guest.
when you were like, well, whatever works for your schedule, and you could be like, second or third. I was like, no, I want to be first.
You said I have to be first. There's
I think I
no
said that. I was like, I actually am not giving you a choice, by the way.
actually, this is it.
You don't get a choice here. But yes, thank you. I've been so excited to yap with you, as if we don't yap about books all the time, but
Literally all day, every
actually,
day.
and like for other people to witness one of our yap sessions is very
I
exciting.
know. I know. Honestly, you're welcome in advanced audience for this. I just realized your book's right there. That wasn't even product placement,
Oh, it
but
wasn't? I thought you like strategically put it up there.
no, my book, this is
It's just
literally,
there like
yeah,
that.
that's just how my shelf looks at all times. So,
Honored.
come on, please. Okay.
Our girl.
So I wanted to start with if you could give us a little backstory of your author journey, because I think a lot of people don't realize you've been doing this for a decade.
Yeah, kind of, right? That's crazy. That makes me sound old.
No.
Uh, so yeah, no, I would love to. Okay, so I actually, a lot of people do think that Smoke and Scar is my debut novel, but I actually published my first book back in 2012. It is called Terra, and it was or is a young adult dystopian science fiction novel and part of a duology, which I just recently repackaged and republished as like the complete duology called Terrestrials, if anyone is looking for it. So yeah, kind of back in the like real heyday and uh, entrance of self-publishing and indie publishing kind of on the scene. I was like right in there when it was really just KDP, like Ingram Spark didn't exist, Book Talk and Bookstagram didn't exist. Those weren't things. And so I did publish that book and like it did pretty well for the time. And then I like just kind of like stopped writing for like 10 years. No big deal.
We do.
Life happens. Turns out I have ADHD. Go figure. Um,
Shocker.
I know. It was shocking information to me when I was got my late
Of course,
diagnosis.
of course.
However, in one of those like crystallizing, like retrospective moments where you're like, yeah, that tracks.
That
You
tracks.
know? So yeah, I and then just last year, really, I kind of like got the spark again, heard the call of the writing muse and went back in full throttle with finishing the duology that I had started and also kind of gunning it toward this brand new idea that I had for a fantasy trilogy, the first book of which is Smoke and Scar. And yeah, I published in March. It feels like it's been like another 10 years and like 10 minutes since then. Like time is
Yeah.
like a weird vortex and so much has happened since the book released. And yeah, I guess that kind of is like an actually not so succinct way of
It's
summing up
it's
where how I
perfect.
got here.
It always boggles my mind that you published it in March because I feel like we've been talking about this for, I mean, it's been a year now. Like we're about to hit August. August of last year is when we met.
That's
It's almost our
right.
anniversary. Look at us go.
Oh, so special.
But I read it in November last year. So when people say like, "Oh yeah, I just read it," or like I read it when it released, I'm like, "Girl, that just happened." That
I
feels
know.
so long ago.
I know. It's actually crazy because I still am like, do I still get to say like this new book? Because technically it has not even been out for 6 months. Like, like so in my marketing stuff, I'll be like, there's a new book out named like that where like all of this stuff. And I'm like, is it new? And then I'm like, but it's still new. Like it's not, it's
It
only been,
hasn't even been 6 months. Literally,
yeah, it's
like
been
it's
what, 5 months? Four or 5 months? Like that's it. So
that is crazy.
yeah, it's like really crazy when you kind of try to like
Oh
put
my
it in that
gosh.
perspective. Not only because, yeah, like you and like some of like the early readers and even ARC readers who read it like in January and stuff, like it's just been, you know, out there for some people for longer, but
Yeah.
yeah, but just so much has happened even in the few short months since it's been released, which
That's
is
so crazy. I remember getting this is like throwback, but I remember getting like one of your first ever newsletters where you were introducing who Elle and Cedric were. I literally know where I was. I was in, this is so ridiculous. I was in the drive-through to go to like Einstein Bros, which is a bagel place. I don't know if that's okay. But I was literally in the drive-through and I was looking at it and I was like, she's so cool. She has purple hair. And I remember that so vividly, and to like jump forward to now is crazy.
oh my gosh. Well, I love that you have like that like moment like crystallized in your mind. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't
but yeah,
think I've ever
I mean,
even told you that before.
I don't think you did. Yeah, it is
Surprise.
really like I was actually just looking through some of my old newsletters just coincidentally recently because I was looking for something to see if I had mentioned something in the past or whatever the case was.
Yeah.
And just kind of, yeah, like seeing the progression of like, because I had to click through a lot of them in order to find what I was looking for. And like seeing the stuff that I was like announcing at the time versus the kinds of stuff I am announcing now in the newsletters that are going out. And so life is crazy, man. I never in a million years could have predicted things happening the way that they have. So, I mean, obviously crazy grateful and still just kind of
Of
like
course.
stumbling through all of this. Like the most amazing thing and most hilarious thing to me is when people are like, "You really seem like you have your stuff together, Gretchen." And I'm like, "Please."
Girl, you said go look at me in Goblin's text.
And I was
Like,
thank you. A, that's very nice of you to say. B, I don't, but I appreciate the sentiment.
oh my gosh, I love that. I do think it comes back to that idea of community, and how you got to the point where you're at is the community you created. Because I think for us, like we literally met just bonding over books that we liked or didn't like. And
Mm,
hey,
more to the
nothing
point.
bonds you more. Nothing bonds you more than hatred. I mean, it is what it is. It
It's like
is,
bookish trauma bonding when you like really just get irked by the same thing.
yeah, yeah, no, exactly. So I think that brings us back to community and how important it is to keep that community going. Do you think there's been the big, like, what do you think has been the biggest difference from 10 years ago publishing to now and creating that community within the current social ecosystem?
Yeah, I think that there are tons of differences, honestly. And one of my favorite things is talking about like all of the different things that indie authors in particular are able to do and accomplish now versus like the limited things that we had before. Like, um, just this isn't community related, but even just like so far as like the layout and formatting and the types of books, like the fact that like I can self-publish a dust jacketed hardcover. Like you couldn't do that when I first published my book.
Yeah.
Paperback was the only option, and like I can even, it's basically like you can make your own special editions, like print on demand, and like
Oh, so cool.
yeah, it's really cool. But that being said, I mean, of course, community around common interests and around books has always existed. It's just like the way that you found those people and the way that you found your readers was really different. So back in the day, uh, blogging was like the big thing, right? Before social
Okay.
media became a thing. And I actually was kind of like a wellness blogger in that space when I was writing my first book, and I had like a modest following and stuff like that. So that really did help me with the launch of my first book, doing like blog tours and stuff like that for like
Cool.
digitally connecting with readers and stuff was a thing. And so I was able to form community from that. And because I was already operating in an online space, like through my blog and stuff like that, I did have, an entry into finding online community. I would just say that it was on like so much of a smaller scale because the thing about social media and especially bookish social media is it's just so much more now. There's just more people, easier access to them. It's global. Like the fact that I'm
Yeah.
connecting with readers in like all across the globe, like in Canada and Australia and the UK and in France and Germany and in Indonesia and like, like in
Yeah.
Taiwan and like all of this cool stuff. I think that that's like one of the biggest things. And I really love indie publishing and seeing kind of the ways that authors form the ability to connect with their readers in different ways. So like I'm a big believer in like figuring out different ways to access different people. And so I'm like active on a lot of different platforms, right? So like I'm on my
Mhm.
Instagram and I'm on TikTok and whatever, but also I have a Discord and also I have my newsletter and also, like I'm always open to exploring new ways to connect with people and draw people together. And I don't know, like it's just really cool, man. Like it's so cool to think that certain people found each other because they were talking about my book, like on my Discord, and then I see them like on Instagram and stuff, like collabing on posts or like, meeting up in real life, and it's really rewarding. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like a little bit of like an online matchmaker almost. I'm like, oh my God, like people are like becoming friends because they like happen to read my book or whatever. So,
No,
um,
literally.
there are so many differences, like I said, in the publishing, independent publishing landscape now, but I would say that the concept of community, of course, has always been there and has been
Mm.
central to and not just in like independent publishing, but I think like in all like indie kind of focused things, like finding that online community has been key. So like indie musicians and like people whose sketches and shows started on YouTube and stuff, and like they found like their online following, or like gamers like streaming and stuff like that, like really cultivating your online community is like such an integral part. And so I think it's like really cool that that extends to books and has become this whole thing where I'm interacting with people from all over the globe all the time. And yeah, it's just really rewarding.
That's so cool. I mean, I think about it all the time. Like I just hit 1,300 followers or whatever, and like the idea of being in a room with 1,300 people is like thinking about that. And I know you just hit 12K, right?
13 and a half, I think. Yeah, it was
Did
crazy.
you go? But
It's
like
been wild.
that's crazy. I think when we met, you had like
Four.
600.
Oh yeah, maybe. Maybe
That
like yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I feel like I have been really bad at like
like
cataloging my growth.
milestones.
Like I need to like be better about like taking like milestone
I
screenshots.
I think we were I mean, when we met, I probably had like 100 followers. That's it. Like August is when I started my account. But like that's so crazy to me that in such a short amount of time you can go from having no audience to this massive audience. And it's like I think it's a big test to like showing up authentically and showing up exactly like who you are. And I think you do a fantastic job about this. And we laugh all the time because you always say, I just cry online. Like that's all I
I
do.
do. I do carry on the internet, not a small amount, I would say. So like I whenever anyone's like if anyone were to question like my authenticity, I feel like I have many examples where I can point to like why
You
would
say,
I do
well, I
this
cried
though?
here and
Like
I cried there.
why would I do this? It's yeah, no, it's I think that it's so important to remember, like, have the perspective that you just said. Like, imagine, like, if you have 1,000 followers, like, in social media terms, that doesn't like sound like a lot or whatever,
Right.
like, comparative to, people who have like 500,000 followers or whatever. But like, 1,000 people is a lot of people. Like,
It
that is a
is.
lot of people. And like, thinking about them standing in a room or like, you know, with the way that social media works, obviously it's very easy to get caught up in like the performance of your posts and the metrics and like how many views have you gotten or
Mhm.
how much engagement are you getting and like stuff like that. And like TikTok in particular is notorious for this, right? Because it'll like give you like halt you all the time at like 300 something views and you're
Yeah.
like, why? But you know what? Like I have found so many awesome like ARC readers or even just like one person out of those 300 views will like actually pick up my book and then that person
Yeah.
like becomes a fan and I interact with them and like they're telling their friends and there's so much beyond those numbers and
Yeah.
I think the benefit and the curse, right, of like internet accessibility and stuff like that is like it makes these huge numbers seem much more attainable and at the same time like it makes you lose that perspective of like how
Yeah.
much you're really impacting people and like on the individual level. And so A, I
Yeah.
think that is super important, and B, yes, I have been really fortunate. I think that I try very hard to make sure that if someone chooses to follow me, it's going to be because they know or they can feel confident in like what they're getting, right? Like
Hmm.
so you hear stories a lot about how like a piece of content will go viral, but it's actually like not really related to what the majority of someone posts about is. And that's kind
Hmm.
of like the double-edged sword or whatever. Be like, oh, great, I'm getting like, 100,000 views on this thread post that I made, not about books. And, like you have to put like a caveat, being like, for all the people who just decided to follow me, like I don't post about that stuff that much. I try to
Yeah.
be consistent. I try to be, myself, and have like a rotation, I guess, of types of stuff that I talk about. But ultimately, like it is my author social media, so hopefully people are not like shocked when the majority of what I'm talking about is just like the book that I have written. So that is pretty much what you're gonna get. But there's a lot of pretty artwork sprinkled in there too. So
Yes, yes, there is. You are the queen of commissioning art, like I said.
the
Like,
queen of being addicted to a very expensive habit, I would just like to caveat.
it's fine. It's fine. We all love you for it. It's fine.
My bank account may have words of difference. However, I
It's
love it.
fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Please
We're
don't
good.
spit out about it, Gretchen. If you think
Yeah.
about it too hard.
But I think that's so true. Like going back to what you said about how it's really easy to get swept up in those numbers and not realize that, you know, okay, you got 3 comments. Think about how impactful it is that 3 people you do not know in person commented on your post. And I get so many messages asking like, "Oh, can you look at my social media and just tell me what I'm doing wrong?" Which I don't know what I did to make people think that I know what's going on, but I do think I get a decent amount of engagement versus like the amount of followers I have. Um, but I think my first thing I always tell people is what are you giving to your audience for them to give to you? Because it is a give and get. It's not a get, and hopefully you get a free book. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that that gets jumbled up a lot. Just like in the content creator space, how easy it is to look at 10 comments and be like, "Oh, well, I don't have to engage back with that." You know what I'm saying? I think it's really easy to get in that place, and I think the reason that you were able to grow so fast and so much is one, like you are the most consistent. Like you said, like if it's a post from you, it's going to be about your book. And like I think that's huge. I think it's consistent that you're always talking about your book. I think that you're very genuine with interactions and you were from jump. Like again, I've known you since August. Like I know the progression of this, but like you've been so genuine that like people are willing to like extend that reach to you because they know like how much it means. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't a I'm gonna comment and then like never hear from her again or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
To try. I will say that that is getting increasingly more difficult.
Oh, dude, the amount of people that comment on your stuff now is
Yeah,
crazy.
and I'm very sympathetic to
Yeah.
I'm still in it, right? Like I'm still small enough that like I am able to, engage all the time. And I mean, I'm just chronically online in general, which like, like has its pros and its pros and its cons. But yeah, I'm so sympathetic to the plight, I guess, of the plight.
The
The plight of like a huge online following. Like, oh wow, wow. But like I just can see how it becomes really hard and how like
Yeah,
that would weigh on someone who is used to being able to like engage and respond back to people and like be in their DMs, just chatting with people or like
mhm.
uh, stuff like that. And like I said, I'm very grateful I still am able to do all of that, but like I can just so easily see how it becomes untenable, right? Like
Yeah,
or creators and authors and stuff who have like wild followings and finding a way to be able to maintain those points of connection when you just don't have the time to like literally
of
respond to everything
course.
anymore, like is going to be a very interesting thing, down the line. and
Yeah.
and what I really like trying to see, how big name authors and stuff, continue to prioritize connecting with their readers and their followers and stuff. It's like it's
Yeah,
just very interesting to see
of
that
course.
potential shift, I guess. Which
I also,
without making it sound like like
no,
I have,
never, please.
50,000 followers or like no, no,
No,
no.
I do think it's a bit of a different conversation when you go from like content creator versus author, because I think one of my biggest things that I always talk about is like, um, do you want engagement or do you want fans?
Mm,
Because I think like for authors, you're creating a space where people want to learn about your book and want to be a fan of what you do, right? They get out of you that book, right? Like you put in the effort and the time into the book and the content and all of that kind of stuff. That's what I'm getting out of you. But when you go into the content creator space, to me, this is just my opinion. When you go into the content creator space, it is a give and take, right?
mm,
Like we are equally talking about books together.
mm.
I am not getting, I mean, I love your content or I love this for whatever, but I'm not getting anything out of this. So when I see like if I comment on somebody's thing and I don't get a reply back, I don't pay attention at all. But I'm saying like I know there are people who do not like follow people back when they don't see reciprocation and stuff. And I just think like it's a big difference between content creators versus authors and figuring out like what that fine line is.
Yeah, and it's complicated too because different platforms like lend themselves to different types of engagement or different like
Of course.
purposes. And so, I've found that like for the sake of community building and really connecting with readers, Instagram has been like the place to go. I feel like it shows my content to my followers primarily. And so
Yeah.
it's like more fun for me to be able to post stuff that's like maybe you would get more if you've already read the book or like you're somewhat familiar with the
Yeah.
characters or whatever. Versus like I found on TikTok, it's much more likely to show my stuff to brand new people. And so then it becomes like not like an advertising platform exactly, but like, it just shifts the type of content that you're putting out there to where like you
Yeah.
can't make presumptions that the people who are seeing it mostly are already familiar with your work. And so you just have to like make that kind of like tweak in like how you're coming up with stuff. And it's why content creation and being online, and on socials it's a whole beast, right? It's a whole separate thing from the actual like writing of a book or even, like connecting with other people through a book club or like being in a Facebook reader group or whatever, where truly it's, just about that. Like there's it's I understand why people get so like worn down by like the grind of social media and stuff. And like luckily like I really enjoy it. I do marketing as my day job and stuff like that. So I do think I'm just like kind of in it all the time anyway. But even I can like tell you that like sometimes I'm like, oh God, like what am I gonna post today? Like that moment, like everybody has it.
Yeah. Man, I just love watching your content because I feel like I know your story so well. I feel like I have
Been there through most of it, yeah.
I really do feel like I just know your content so well that or know your book so well that I love just seeing like the different ways that you talk about it. Because I mean, we're talking about the same book, you know what I'm saying? But like the different ways that you can just slightly alter a post or slightly alter a reel or whatever to keep it that consistent. But I love it. It's one of my favorite things. I want to go back to this because I just love it. I love how vulnerable you are online about your journey because it's so much deeper than I wrote a book and I published it and now here's some pretty art. Like I just love like the authenticity and the vulnerability that you really just show day to day. Stop it. You're not allowed to do that. Don't look at me like
You know that I am inclined to be quick to tears as we have discussed. So you have to cool it with these compliments, girl.
so sorry. I feel like that had to happen at some point. Me
I'm good.
compliment
I'm
you too
good.
much.
I'm good. I've been
You're welcome.
hydrating for this. So I was like, well, best be prepared. Thank you very much. That means so much to me. Writing is inherently a very vulnerable medium, I think. Like most authors, if not every single one, will tell you that, they poured their heart and their soul into the pages of their book. And so then to extend that to also reveal like vulnerable parts of yourself, like visually or because of your backstory and stuff online is like another step further. And it did take me time to work up to it, like I definitely, if you were to scroll all the way back, like way, way back, because I know I post a lot, um, I didn't like show my face online as much. Like I was very hesitant to like, which is ironic because I am quite vain, but uh I like I just like wasn't sure how to balance, I guess, like the concept of like this is my author account versus, like this is me as the author. And I think that like one of the amazing things about the landscape of being an author these days and somewhat scary things is that they're really one and the same nowadays. Like
Hmm.
people want to know the people behind the books that they're reading. And you see
Yes.
that time and time again, right? Because either something amazing will come out about like an author and people will like flock to their book because of it, or like there's controversy and that impacts the way that people feel about the books that they've written, right? There's not really this separation anymore. And so I think that for me, it was just kind of like leaning into the idea that like I already poured my soul onto the pages here. You might as well get to like, hear from me and see me and like, have it all there as well. And it's been really rewarding because I feel like I've been able to connect with people so authentically and like create these like real genuine friendships and like real life relationships out of the internety ether or whatever. And like that's cool, man.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's such a important thing, like understanding that I love telling people this, but sell yourself first and then sell your product because people care about who you like you can sell anything if people care enough about you, right? And I think that's so big is like if you're going to be a brand or you're going to be an author or whatever, get people excited about who you are, whether your face is on your account or not, because you can absolutely do this with a faceless account. I've talked to multiple authors who are faceless accounts, and they absolutely like I've commended about how personable you feel, even if I've never seen your face before. And I think that's huge. I think it's huge because people genuinely just want that connection. They want to feel a connection with people, and being able to connect with somebody first and then get to read, like you said, pouring their heart and get to read all about their soul and characters. I think is just so special.
It is really special. And I also understand how it's so different than the traditional concept of being an author, in which case it was like the opposite for, decades, centuries, where it's just the book on the shelf, and who the author is really was kind of immaterial for a long
Yeah.
time. And now, again, it's just much more like connected. And for me, that's worked out because I really enjoy, again, like connecting with people online. I really like have found a lot of joy and fulfillment in this community. And also it's worked out, but I can understand why it's super scary too, and to feel like you're having to fill this role of kind of like author, but like almost like influencer and creator and
Mm,
celebrity to a certain extent, like not me, but like once you reach a certain echelon of a readership, I guess, and stuff like
yeah.
that. So it's very interesting kind of from like an objective perspective. And I also think it's cool because I personally find it so rewarding to make those connections.
Oh, I love that. Okay, we've been yapping for so long, but I just wanted to say thank you again for being here. We're gonna jump into our Goblin's favorites now, and I'm gonna recommend a book, and Gretchen's gonna recommend a book. And now it's time for Goblin's favorites of the episode. All right, we're gonna do our favorites of the episode. I'm gonna go ahead and have Gretchen go first.
Awesome. Well, I have had the pleasure of meeting a local, like DMV area author. Her name is J.S. Living, and this is her book, The Covenant of Blood. Vampires, I think it's kind of like an alternate, concept of like the daughter. Let's see, it's the daughter of Vlad the Impaler and the Blood Countess. So, I had the
Oh,
pleasure of doing an event with her, a signing event with
so
her.
cool.
And she's super awesome. And I'm actually going to also be on a panel with her at Once Upon a Con in August. So,
I'm
yeah,
going.
I'm really excited to dive into this one.
I'm going to that, everybody. Just so you know, I will also be there.
Yes, I hope that like if anyone is listening who's going to be at Once Upon a Con, like they should come hang out with us.
Yes, I will
Yap in
be at her
person.
table.
Just hang out with us.
Yeah, just please come hang out. Okay, my review is of Moths and Stone. Can you see that? Okay, it's
Mhm.
by K.R. Fryatt. So this
Yeah.
is actually an art copy. Guys, this book is so good. Okay, so first, it's 775 pages. I just need to mention that because your girl is scared of big books. Like,
I
I'm
like big books.
scared. Dude, I'm scared. I'm scared every single time. But this book was incredible. Like genuinely incredible. And there was nothing where I was like, oh yeah, it could have been shorter. Nope. It was honestly, I'm pissed that it ended where it was. And she knows what she did. And I'm upset.
That's amazing.
But it is so good. But like I said, this is an art copy. She still has arcs going for, I believe, another month. And then the book releases in October of this year. So if you
Yeah.
want an art copy, go sign up. They're still available right now. Or you have to wait till September or no, October. But it's still so good and it's amazing. And yeah, that's my rec.
That's awesome. I want to do a
Yeah.
shameless plug for Final Arc signups as well for book two
Yes. I
in
was gonna give
February.
you time to talk
Oh,
about this
okay, good.
stuff.
It's like, oh, speaking of arcs, which I never remember to talk about.
You said I also wrote a book.
Okay, so first of all, for anyone who has been waiting to read Smoke and Scar but hasn't been able to because maybe they're an audiobook reader, I am so excited that the audiobook in duet narration is coming out on September 2nd. Um,
Ah,
and then
that's so
also it would be
soon.
it's so soon.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and it would be perfect timing to read the first book because ARC signups for the second book, Splintered Kingdom, are open right now too, and that is coming out on November 11th. And I am
Oh my
so
gosh.
excited for people to find out what's going to be happening next. I'm really proud of this second book, and I think that it's like I have had a lot of amazing feedback about the first book, but multiple early readers have told me that like second book's even better. So I'm hoping that that is
It
the
is.
sentiment that a lot of people get because we get more time with our two mains and who could
Ugh,
do with that?
swoon. Oh, it's so good, you guys. It's so good. And I get to say that because I already read it. It's so good. And I just have to mention because again, I read these books, I read all her books early, but I read them on like Google Docs. So I have like the ability to like highlight and comment really easily. Do you want to tell them how many comments I left?
I think that the count maybe got up to 1600 something. We had to we broke Google
Oh
Docs.
yeah, we completely broke Google Docs
We had
completely.
to split the manuscript up into three different documents because it
Three.
like
Literally
it would just like not
three.
load.
No. I would like scroll like I would read it on my phone and then like highlight and whatever. And I would like try and scroll and it would be like it would take so long. I was like, Gretchen, I need another document. I broke Google again. I'm
It's the
sorry.
most amazing experience getting to have your reactions. Though, like even if like half of them are like,
Oh, it's literally just me yelling, me doing like hard eyes or me saying like, "Ugh, they're so hot." Like literally that's it. That's all I comment.
and those are the exact reactions I'm hoping from every other future reader in spades, just like those three over and over again.
Just screaming and swooning over how hot they
Oh,
are.
I am
That's
definitely
all you see.
am anticipating some people in my DMs after they start reading the second book for sure, which is always welcome. I just want to put it out there, at Gretchen
Oh
Powell
yeah.
on all of the platforms. So
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. I don't know how I could read that book any other way than losing my mind at you the entire time.
most rewarding experience getting like a Gob's play-by-play of the book. So thank you.
You always say it's the goblin effect, and I'm like, it's the goblin illness, okay? Like, we can't we can't be advertising this. I always get like if I read an indie author, they're like, "Oh, like send me your feedback." I'm like, "I don't think you realize what you're asking for, and I don't think that's what you want." Like, let's let me let me scale back.
I disagree. However, it is
I
the
know
most magnificent experience.
every author I talk to is like, "No, no, but I want 60 I
They're
want all
like, no
1600.
more,
No
more.
more, please." Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, thank you so much again for being
Yeah.
here. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you were my first guest. It had to be. It had to be.
The honor is all mine, and I had so much fun yapping with you.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to tune in next week, and I hope you have a great day. Love you. Bye.